Hi, welcome to part 2 of my construction video. Well, just had a slideshow earlier. I thought I had to leave out a lot of stuff, so I'll talk a little bit about it now. Like I said, this was the first post in June of 2016. The widest part of the railroad as far as dirt is right in here. I was walking on top of this beam and kept losing my balance and found out that the railroad was tilting. So I went back in, added a few posts in there. Hasn't moved since then, but I was a little worried about it for a while. But I said that's 37 inches there, and we're going to come up to the low point of the railroad, which is at this corner, and that's about 13 inches right here. I can, because of these rocks right here, I can step up into the upper railroad pretty easy, at least right now at my age. Don't know if I'll always want to do that. I do have to get up here to work on the tracks in the upper level. The reach is too great for most places, so but the rocks are pretty stable and I don't have any problem right now at my age navigating around. You can see Tux and Jazzy, the cat and dog. We built the fence to keep Jazzy out. We'd look out the window and she'd be walking around in the garden. So we had to build that fence, but that does a nice job of tying everything together. So again, I'm going to talk a little bit about the concept. When I first built this, I was planning on building a logging railroad. This pond was in theory going to be the log pond. There's going to be an old steam-powered sawmill right here. But as my interests changed, I decided to go more into the diesel era. So I got a Colorado model structure. I think it's actually supposed to be a plastic company. Put two of them together, and that's my modern sawmill. I colored it after one in southern Ohio, sort of the same colors as that. So now the pond is just a pond. I really don't have a lot of interest in building a big city, so this hasn't really been developed much. Again, Colorado model structures, really nice kits. I really like them. I've reinforced them a lot on the inside, and they're strong. It's a hell of a lot of snow, and with all the reinforcement I put in, we have cats and 20-pound cats up there, and it doesn't hurt them. But this is, in theory, the end of the line right now. Because it's such a small railroad, I have to run loops. So this was where the sawmill was going to be. And coming around here, this was actually going to be where log loading was going to be, and I was going to have a cable system where they would actually cut the timber up on the upper level, cable it down, and load it onto rail cars here and take it to the sawmill. But now it's a coal loader, and I have a mine tram up above, and I built all that out of plywood. It's covered with tin cans going through a paper crimper. This is a pulpwood loading station. Again, at one point that was just going to be like maybe where they peeled bark off trees. They did that a lot in eastern Kentucky for hemlock bark, but my whole focus, my railroad, was going to be timber. But that changed as my interest changed, like I said. So coming on around, so basically I have three places where I can switch, not counting the yard. I've got the coal mine, the what is now a pulpwood loading, and then I've got the sawmill where I load chips and also cut lumber. So coming into the yard, one time I was going to have more of a city here, and sort of decided against it. I do have the Virginia Wholesale here, which was actually a building like a grocery distributor on the Interstate Railroad. You see, I had a sign over here, Norfolk Western Freight Depot, but the wholesale company fits better. This is also my team track over here. So in theory, when I come down here, I'm actually standing in the Tug Fork of the Big Sandy River, and the N&W main line is in the shed. So Hagen's, Kentucky is right here, and so that they keep a switcher here to run to service. This used to be a more extensive coal branch, but now it's the big mine was abandoned, so now that just has the Scott coal loader in the lumber industry. It's the only thing keeping it alive. But they keep a switcher in the caboose here, and they run, you know, Monday through Friday, daylight hours only, out and back. And again, I have to run several loops, so I'll run a couple loops around the railroad, and when I get to the Hagen's, or the sawmill, which is Truett Lumber, I'll switch the sawmill out, run around the train, go back, and then I'll switch the pulpwood on the way back, since it's a facing point switch when I leave. And then in the afternoon, the same crew will actually make a coal mine run to Scott Coal, switch the coal mine, and come back. And then in theory, the N&W mainline or trains will drop off, pick up these cars and drop off empties for the next day's work. So when I come in the next day, you know, these are all empties sitting here ready to go. So that's sort of my concept. I'll try to run an operating session sometime, but it's very hard to run the trains and hold the camera, so I might have to enlist my wife or to get a tripod or something like that. I do plan on developing the city a little bit more this year, maybe put some streets in, but it's never going to be super detailed like some people do. I just don't have the interest in it. I'd rather run trains, to be honest with you. But there'll be a little bit more going on there. So I thought this might help explain some of how the railroad came about and some of my thinking. I'll show you my switch list and run an operation here coming up soon. In the meantime, everybody stay safe and enjoy the nice weather we're getting.